What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Maverick here with episode 3 of Gleipnir. So, last episode, a lot of things happened, right? And a lot of my theories were actually overthrown. I originally thought that this was going to be somewhat of those, real-life gaming kind of situations, having this sort of weird system, and then lots of players are in this game. It's just one of those game type scenarios that's being played out in the real world. Well, apparently not, and it's not something as nefarious or sinister as that. It seems to be mostly isolated, right? There are other people who have fallen to the same sort of predicament, mainly being able to transform their bodies or whatnot via using the tokens and accessing the vending machine. But it, by and large, seems to be something isolated to this town only. So that's probably the mystery that we're gonna have to go for. And another thing is that apparently Claire's sister has some sort of prior relation with Shuichi, and that is why Shuichi got into this situation as he has right now. So I guess you can say it's fate that Claire and Shuichi met in the end. So far, I'm really impressed by the animation, particularly the fights. The story, I'm still kind of on the fence on, so hopefully this episode will help convince me. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Alright, this is the dude. So what are you? Oh, it's actually an alien! Huh. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Some sort of alien technology? Gleipnir. Well, since knowing the title of this anime actually has relation with Norse mythology, I've been thinking whether or not it's deliberate, right? I mean, I'm thinking maybe it could be, No, Gleipnir is supposed to be some sort of chain holding this beast until the end of the world, until Ragnarok, right? So I guess they're also being inhibited somewhat, being put on a leash until that dude finds whatever he's trying to look for. Sexy, sexy Claire. Well, speaking of which, I'm guessing Claire's naked again? Or half naked? Oh. Okay. Okay, I spoke too soon. I should have expected this. Hmm, this is a pretty logical girl. But still, why do you need to strip to your underwear? And if you were, because you sweat? Well, why don't you take it all off then? Right? Why stop at your underwear? I'm just saying. Okay, never mind! This girl. Why should you care, Shuichi? No, seriously, why do you care, Shuichi? You guys are gonna break the cuff, aren't you? But wouldn't you feel it yourself? I mean, if you're connected together, wouldn't you just basically? I'm not sure if that makes sense. Wow, nice. Shuichi did this right. Yep. Here? No. Hmm. Do they have to show this every single time? Hmm. Hmm. Elena. They just went out flat out and said her name. I mean, we know that anyways because of the cast list. But
な姿になったかを、なぜあの人が僕を襲ってきたかを、そして犯した罪の意味を。
Mm-hmm.
この匂い。
He recognizes it?
血の匂い。しかも一人や二人じゃない。一体何人が犠牲になったんだ。
Really?
僕が甘かった。実際にクレアが見たかどうかなんて関係ない。はっきりわかる。クレアの両親を殺したのはこの怪物だ。
Mm.
まあ分かってはいたつもりだけど、思った以上に状況は悪そうね。週一どうする？
探しに行こう。一緒に。
いらっしゃいませ。食料と水、あとはメモリーカード。そうだ、携帯トイレとか買っといた方がいいね。張り込みとか初めてだからわかんない。
それはいらないんじゃない。
ま、最悪ペットボトルにすればいいか。
Just go in the woods or something.
一人2本くらいあればいいかな。
何よ。
Or Freckle.
いらっしゃいませ。こちら温めますか？
あ、お願いします。
それも一緒に温めてください。封開けて。かしこまりました。
さっきは冷やすって。
メープル味は温めると美味しいよ。
So, where exactly are they going?
食べないの？
さっきの匂いが。
ちゃんと食べないと張り込みなんてできないわよ。
そうだけど。
けど意外だったわ。姉の匂いを嗅いだ時、私でさえ恐怖を感じたのに、週一は一緒に探そうって言ってくれた。
らしくないって言いたいんだろう。
そんなことない。かっこよかった。
クレア。
何？
Stick and carrot.
もしお姉さんを見つけたらどうするつもり？
そうね。私はただ聞いてみたいだけ。どうして化け物になったのか、どうして父と母を殺したのか、それと。
それと
Why not me?
なんでもない。逆に週一の家族はどんな感じなの？
うちはあんまりアットホームな家じゃないかも。両親は仕事で家を留守にしがちで、ずっと塾に預けられてた。普通といえば普通の家だから、今回のことにはできるだけ巻き込みたくない。
そう。
Oh, is that?
どうした？
She likes Shuichi, right? So she's kind of, why are these two so close to each other? She's probably gonna get involved in all this somehow. I can feel it.
姉の高校も近いんだけど、今のところ収穫ゼロ。勘が外れたかしら。週一お水。
もうないよ。
私の予想だと姉はまだこの町にいるわ。いくら怪物でも高校生が知り合いもいない町で一人で生きるのは難しいと思うの。
誰かが手助けしていると。
まあ予想だけどね。けどもし姉と接触した奴がいれば、そいつにも姉の匂いは移る。匂いがあれば週一の鼻で見つけられるでしょ。
Hmm.
そうだ。見つけなきゃいけない。
So he actually has enhanced senses, even without transforming?
たとえ相手が怪物だとしても大丈夫。
You're one to talk, Claire.
ちなみに私は処女よ。今日はここまでね。明日はショッピングモールの方を探してみる。あそこは人も多いし。
モールか。
どうしたの？
ああ、いや、そういや、ミスがやってたな。
Are you guys actually going on a date now?
今はそれどころじゃない。
いいわよ。でも怖い映画はいいよ。私怖いの苦手なの。
What? Oh man.
たまには息抜きも必要でしょ。
Hey, this girl.
どうしたの？いきなり変身なんかして。
いる。
見つけたのね。姉の匂いのするやつを。相手は男？女？
女の人。ホームの方。
女ってことは姉のクラスメート？違う。
なんなんだ、この匂いは。
Lots and lots of blood.
息を吸うだけで
She probably knows, doesn't she?
が重くなるような。
She's gonna look directly at the camera? Or is it actually her sister? It's her sister.
ダメよ、秀一。あれは姉の知り合いじゃないわ。あれは姉本人よ。
あれがクレアのお姉さん。
行くわよ、秀一。
ちょっと待って、クレア。
Uh,
あいつを捕まえるの。
is like getting undressed your fetish, Claire?
撃つっていきなり。
秀一、あいつは何人も人を殺した殺人鬼よ。
けどお姉さんだろ。
だから？
だからこれは僕一人にやらせてくれないか。
ダメ。忘れたの？言ったでしょ。私たちは
Hmm. How are they gonna do this though? Like,
チャンスは一回。
they're literally just gonna stay here?
せめて普通に話せないの。姉妹なんだし。
両親を殺してるやつと？狙うのは足。銃は私が撃つわ。撃ったらかがんだところを一発殴って気絶させてダッシュでさらう。
どうしてだ。どうしてクレアはこんな冷静でいられるんだ。両親を殺した相手に会うのに、実の姉を撃とうとしているのに。
Wow, look at that aura.
今のクレアからは何の感情も感じない。まるで
Yeah, she's purposely inhibiting her. She probably.
まるで心を殺して。
Yeah. No.
ダメだ。
Oof. Hmm.
動けない。直接触れて伝わる圧倒的な格の違い。
Yeah.
銃で撃つなんて。
やばい、殺され。
そのあれです。すみません。
Yeah, she knows him, right?
こういうのに慣れてなくて。そのだからすみません。少し考える時
Yeah, because she actually knows Shuichi, right?
やばいコミュ障なのがバレバレよ。どうしよう。
なんなんだこの人は。
大丈夫。わかってます。私を殺しに来たのよね。いや、でもできれば場所を変えてもらえませんか？その他の人の迷惑にならない場所に。
What the hell is going on here? What? And she actually doesn't know her sister is in him, right?
なんなんだこの人は。写真のイメージともクレアの話とも違う。本当にこの人が殺人鬼なのか。
けど、どうやって私を見つけたんですか？もしかして誰かに聞いたの？ごめんなさい。こっちの話です。
Yeah, she knows about.
余計なことを。
この人とは話ができる。この前の女の人みたいにいきなり襲ってこないし、それどころか自分に銃を向けた相手に
This is.
から私を殺そうとした理由ははっきりと
She was the one who changed him, right?
誰なのかもわかる。
She was the.
そう。悪いのは
Yeah, she was the one who changed Shuichi.
気づいてたの。週一の中に私がいることを。私が弱かったからあなたを。
No, she's not talking to you, Claire. She's talking to Shuichi.
だからあなたになら私は殺されても本当にごめんなさい。ごめんなさい、周一くん。あなたをそんな姿に変えたのは私なの。
Yeah? Such is fate.
ちょっと今女の人の声がしませんでした？
Is she actually like a yandere of some sort?
もしかして今周一くんの中に女がいる？
Ah, not just any girl. Actually, your sister. Can she actually forcibly draw her out? Ooh. What? Damn. Okay. Okay, I'm impressed. This is actually getting really interesting. Right, see you guys after this. Alrighty, so shit has hit the fan, man. That ending there, wow, ripping his head off. I mean, obviously, I think he can survive it. I think Claire is gonna survive that as well. Perhaps, her sister is going to see that Claire is inside her, is inside Shuichi, and then things are about to get very, very interesting, right? So you were jealous that another girl was inside Shuichi? Well, guess what? It's your sister. Oh man, how ironic is all this? I am loving it. And you know, I feel like this episode has convinced me. I do think that I enjoy this series right now, and I do want to continue watching it. So first episode, kind of on the fence. Second, not too impressed, honestly. Second episode, I was impressed by the animation, and in this episode, with the way the characters and the story is developing, it seems the characters are multidimensional, and it seems that the story is not just a very pure surface level story either. It's actually got some twists in it. So I am actually liking this very, very much. And I mean, it was kind of obvious that she was talking about Shuichi in the first place. Claire's sister, because you know from the end of last episode we know that she was actually the one who transformed who transformed Shuichi, right? And she had that little figurine on her, and apparently she, for some reason, does like Shuichi, although Shuichi apparently does not know of her existence. So this is probably a one-sided love, and well, that's a yandere if I've ever seen one, right? But yeah, so I felt like that the ending dialogue there was obvious, but that just going to make the eventual revelation all the much more sweeter, right? I can't wait until next episode until they show Claire's sister in I think she's called what, Arena, something like that. I can't wait until it pans to her in shock, like, Claire, what are you doing here? How can you know? And then run away, that kind of thing. Oh man, I can't wait. But yeah, like I was talking about, I quite like the sort of character gap that the two sisters exhibit, right? So Claire, she's normally this headstrong, very cool, very collected character, kind of bossy, and so on and so forth. But then she has her cute moments as well, right? As we can see in this episode with her interaction with Shuichi, going to the movies, sort of like a date or something, and then being like, oh, I don't do well with horror movies, and blushing while saying that. Man, I really love the interaction of these two, right? In the first episode and the second one, you kind of get the feeling that 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 Claire is being really bitchy and whatnot, and a bitch personality, if I'm gonna say so. But here we can see that she's a playful bitch. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I really like her personality actually, and what I really love about her also is that how she really uses her brain to think of these things, because all way too often in a lot of anime or manga and lots of other these kinds of works, I feel like the characters are just not properly using their brain in the situation, right? Once you encounter this kind of situation, how is your plan? How's your action plan going forward? What are you supposed to do step by step instead of just running around like, I mean, I know they're high schoolers, right? But high schoolers, people in high school, they should be able to at least formulate a plan and then stick to it, right? It's not like they're kindergartners or something. So here, I really appreciate, like, Claire was being like, okay, we have this free time, let's check out the extent of our capabilities, do some limit testing, and then I already have a plan in mind. I want to use your enhanced senses to try and sniff out the scent of my sister, and then I also have some theories where I feel like there might be some people related with my sisters still being there, so we are able to perhaps make off the scent from one of those people, right? Lots of hypotheses, and then immediately do some testing. So I really enjoy Claire, this kind of character, such as Claire, who really think things through and then tries to act out on them, right? So 2 thumbs up for me for Claire right now. I really do love her as a character. And then we got her sister as well, right? So kind of also a different type of gap here. So maybe normally she's like timid, shy, very apologetic and whatnot, but then when her switch gets flipped, she turns into this demon monster or whatnot. So yeah, under immaterial, and I guess that makes Claire perhaps a tsundere. No, I wouldn't doubt that, right? And you guys remember I was making the comparison to Asuka from Evangelion throughout the past 2 episodes, so that still kind of rings true for me as well. Another one would be Anna from Shaman King. Her style right now is reminiscent to me of those 2 characters, which are both, I guess, kind of sort of tsunderes in a way. I mean, Asuka definitely is, right? Anna, Anna. Now that I think, yeah, Anna is definitely also an archetypical tsundere character, except she doesn't show her dairy side that much, right? So I feel like that's the same situation with Claire as well. So good on that. So yeah, and even Shuichi, right? He's not the typical, useless kind of character. Even though, he's probably going to be the butt of a lot of jokes, right? How he's the one getting inserted into, let's just say. But when push comes to shove, he still shows his own resilience when it needs to, right? Like forcibly stopping a Claire from shooting a gun and so on and so forth. So he's still a little bit naive, I guess. But that's just the way that his personality is, right? He wants to see the best in everyone. He wants to not assume the worst, right? So I can understand his character. Shuichi is definitely not a character that I would hate on, like some other characters where I feel like they are just either way too idealistic or just overall annoying, right? So Shuichi, I think he's still fine for me. So I do like the characters that are being developed so far. And then we also got this mysterious vending machine dude, right? Who in the credits I believe is credited as an alien, basically. And from the beginning of this episode, we can see, you know, he's talking about the people of this planet and so on and so forth. So I think it's obvious that he's an alien. And apparently he's looking for something. He's searching for something, and probably requires those tokens, right? Those star-shaped tokens. So he's probably enlisting the help of humans to help him collect these tokens, and probably he manifested into this sort of vending machine, right? So if humans are able to help him collect these tokens and then put them in the vending machine, then the alien will grant some powers to the human in question, right? And this is all part of his plan to gather all the tokens. Now, whether or not he's actually a good guy or a bad guy or a neutral guy, that is yet to be seen, right? We don't know what his ulterior motive is. We don't even, like, it could totally be a case where, you know, he's really one of the good guys, right? And he's just wasn't aware that humans were going to take this power and use it for various nefarious purposes, right? And to a certain extent, I doubt that he cares all that much. He just wants to get his tokens, right? So I'm leaning more right now, you know, just from 3 episodes in without knowing about anything, maybe more of the apathetic kind of character, right? So he doesn't really care what the humans are using the power for, what kind of powers they're wishing for, and so on and so forth. He just cares about gathering all the tokens, right? But anyways, definitely interesting story so far. I was not expecting the twist that he was an alien, right? And then for the sister to show up this early and to be in this kind of format and this kind of character. I was half ready to write it off as some sort of misunderstanding, right? I mean, they were heavily hinting at that, and I think even now I would say I'm more leaning towards it being a misunderstanding of some sorts. But at the same time, I did like how they sort of constructed her character so that, you know, there's lots of bloodlust and blood sense on her. So it's very, very hard to prove her innocence, right? So, yeah. Basically, you know, it's doing a lot of things right with the story so far. No specific fighting scenes this episode, so that's a bit of a shame because, like I said before, I'm really impressed by the fighting animation that they have. Instead, we got a lot more of the, I guess you could call ecchi fan service, with Claire entering into Shuichi numerous times and taking off her clothes numerous times. I feel like, you know, like I said, I'm not adverse to this fan service. I actually enjoy it when it's used sparingly and it fits the context, right? I do hope that they don't overuse it, because that can get old real quick. Like basically Claire taking off her clothes whenever she can. Although I guess you can also make it into a running gag as well, in which case that would be kind of funny, right? It would be a meme that we can all relate to. So I'm kind of on the fence about that, but I do hope that they continue to utilize it in a moderate and fun fashion, right? So yeah, there we go. That's it for Gleipnir episode 3. No news of it going to be delayed or whatnot, so I think next week is still fine. We can still watch next week without problem. And yeah, I think by this point I've made my decision. I'm gonna continue on with this series. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this as well, and I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.